Did you get everybody in this? Yeah. All right. Here we go. You want to have one? All right. We'll just stop where we're at. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke courageously and eloquently to America about war and peace, about social justice and racial discrimination, about this nation's obligation to the poor, and about nonviolence as a way of protecting social change in the world of brutality. The moral principle he advocated King's dominated his life of service to the poor, to the oppressed, and alienated, a life of service to humanity that transcended class, national, and racial boundaries. Martin Luther King Jr. united millions of Americans, young and old, black and white, rich and poor, in the struggle for human dignity, freedom, and justice, and contributed greatly to the passage of the Civil Rights legislation in 1964 and 1965, and in working to help eliminate racism from American life. The great contributions of Martin L. King Jr. are a part of our common history of heritage, a legacy all Americans should preserve and expand. It is fitting that this city memorialize the contributions of Martin Luther King Jr. to social justice and progress. Now, therefore, I, George Moscone, Mayor of the City and County of San Francisco, hereby proclaim that January 16, 1977 shall be known in San Francisco as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I urge all San Franciscans and our citizens to join in the observance of the day with the scheduled celebration.
Hello?
Tony?
Yeah.
Michael Prokes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to call you this late, and I'm about to leave for Los Angeles, but I talked to Jim, and someone overheard my conversation there in the room when I talked to you earlier, and we were just, they mentioned it in passing to Jim, and he got very upset with me for making the call. I didn't, intend for him to know because, but the point is, I apologize because I wasn't aware that he had suggested you, as being the chairperson, and I had been getting a lot of calls, from the black community, and Johnny Brown has also, well, Tim Stone too,
In reference to what?
For Jim to be, the chairperson, and so I said, well, I'd see what I could do, but Jim said he didn't want anybody, campaign for him, and he was hesitant. He said he would if that's the way things went, but he thought it would be difficult to get either one, of you or him as chairperson the way it was, and so he said he was pretty upset with me for doing that because he had mentioned that he'd like to see you or maybe him as vice chairperson.
Well, either one of us would be very fine with me. The reason that we concluded it in that fashion, and he suggested it, that I'd be chairman, was because we were concerned that of his schedule, and that I was willing to do that if he couldn't. It's but to me, if either one of us would be fine, and I would, I welcome, as a matter of fact, and please tell this to Jim. Are you going to follow him?
Yes, I'll be talking.
Please tell him that I welcomed it very much, and I thought he was I as a matter of fact, Michael, I respected you for that, and I'm glad that you felt that way about Jim. I mean, if you didn't feel that way about him, then I think I would lose more respect.
Well, I probably wouldn't have done it, although I would have liked to have seen him in that position on my own. But we have been getting a number of calls, not just me, but Johnny Brown and Tim, mainly from the black community. People want.
Well, I think that.
If there ever was a prophet, Jim Jones.
All right.
If there ever was a prophetic people who will put their lives on the line, it's the people's temple. People who gather together. For people's temple and ministry. No doubt about it. When Jim Jones came along, he put on the sandals of prophecy. His tongue was parched with the fire of prophecy. His touch reached beyond the barriers of the ghetto into the lives of those who lived in infested, diseased communities. Jim Jones came along, he came along at the right time. There's only one minister that I find enjoyment in being with. And he stands his ground.
Let's do that.
There's what we've got to say. Jim and I use some of the same words. I will tell you what they are. When we get there, good thing y'all ain't around. I'll come to all of you, because we can say what we really mean. Put emphasis on it, you know. I don't even say no more, do I bring to you my brother and my friend, true prophet of all seasons, Jim Jones. Humanitarian Award, November 15, 1977. Reverend Jim Jones and the People's Temple Christian Church. To the man and his people who crumble the walls of injustice, blow the trumpet of freedom for the press, hit the battle against hunger, drug abuse, homelessness, and unemployment, march against the barrier of racism. You are a man and a people living in time for all humanity. Walk that walk and talk that talk and love that love. Keep the Williams of the line for you.
I think no one, and I want to receive an award today, to receive an award from him. I know our people esteem him as no other minister. I'd like you to show that you showed him in reverence to my Cecil Williams. I feel really out of place. This is my suit. You obviously can see it won't button. Carl Goodman spoke my mind. I was overwhelmed by the accuracy of his right-on statements. I want to say for everyone here that if you happen to want to come after Bob, the public advocates, you want to come after Cecil and Carl in particular, because I've known them through the years, I'm going to take that same stand the pastor in Germany said many years ago he should have taken. When he said they came after the communists, I didn't do anything because I wasn't a communist. Then they came after the Jews. And out of my typical prejudices of Protestantism, I did nothing when they came after the Jews. When they came after the trade unions and the Catholics, the same reaction. That's not mine. If you touch a hair on the head of Cecil Williams or Carlton Williams, you've got me a deal.
In 5 minutes, what I said is at 9 o'clock in some 15 or 20 minutes, okay? In many ways, there are people who at this particular time in the history of America now feel like their brothers and sisters with the movement of Martin Luther King. But they didn't declare their brotherhood and sisterhood when King was alive. You see, if you really understand what Martin was about, you begin to sense the direction of what he called the beloved community. He saw the beloved community